Cat, M&T, User Data, Outputs Elf, Dragon Story, Part 1, MD. Kira moved through the forest with silent steps. Her long, pointed ears twitched at every sound. The three small dragons followed behind her like loyal puppies. Their scales glittered. In patches of sunlight breaking through the trees, the elf woman paused and knelt beside a stream. Her reflection showed pale skin and emerald eyes that had seen too much sadness. She dipped her hand in the cool water, and the smallest dragon, a blue one named Sky, chirped and lapped at the droplets on her fingers. "Soon we will reach the human settlement," she whispered to her companions. 5 cycles of the moon had passed since the illness took hold of her sister, Lily. All elf healers had failed. Her only hope lay with the strange beings called humans. They possessed magic unknown to elven kind. Science, they called it, the largest dragon. Ruby spread her crimson wings and made a worried sound. "I know it is dangerous." Kira stroked the dragon's head. "But humans are said to be compassionate sometimes." The middle dragon, moss green as forest shadows, huffed smoke from his nostrils. He did not trust humans. No elf did. But Kira had heard stories. Stories of humans who could heal what elven magic could not. As the sun began to set, Kira spotted lights in the distance. The human settlement called Hope Springs. She had chosen this place carefully. It was known to have a research center where humans studied rare diseases. Kira gathered her dragons close. "Remember what I taught you, stay hidden unless I call." The 3 dragons chirped in understanding. They could make themselves nearly invisible, blending with shadows, a talent that had saved them when Kira rescued them as hatchlings from hunters. Kira approached the settlement with caution. Her cloak concealed her elven features except for her ears, which she covered with her long silver hair. The settlement was nothing like elven cities. It was all straight lines and strange materials. Humans had no care for natural beauty. A woman stood at the edge of the settlement. Her white coat marked her as a healer among humans. "Hello." Kira called out, her voice melodic compared to human speech. "I seek help." The human woman turned. Her face showed surprise, then curiosity. "I'm Susan Brown, Chief Medical Researcher. What kind of help do you need?" Kira lowered her hood, revealing her elven features. The human gasped, but did not run or show fear. "My sister is dying," Kira said. "Our healers cannot save her. I heard humans have powerful science magic." Susan stepped forward, her eyes filled with wonder. "An actual elf? I never thought the rumors were true." She composed herself quickly. "What symptoms does your sister have?" Kira described the illness that was slowly killing Lily. The human listened, her face growing serious. "That sounds like a prion disease. Very rare, very deadly." Susan said, "We have experimental treatments, but nothing proven." "Please," Kira begged. "I will give anything." Susan studied Kira thoughtfully. "Your physiology. Your DNA might hold the key to many medical advances. Would you consider allowing us to study you? Study blood samples, tissue samples. Nothing that would harm you, but it would help us understand how to treat your sister and help countless humans too." Kira hesitated. She had heard stories of humans experimenting on magical creatures, reading her fear. Susan added, "You would be a volunteer patient with full rights. You can leave anytime." A soft chirp came. From behind, Kira Sky had crept forward, curious about the human. Susan gasped. "Is that a dragon?" "One of my companions," Kira admitted. "They are bonded to me." The human's eyes widened with scientific excitement. Remarkable, their existence could revolutionize our understanding of biology. Kira made her decision. "If you help my sister, I will let you study me and share knowledge of my kind. But my dragons are not to be touched or studied." Susan nodded. "I accept those terms. Come with me." The human led Kira into the settlement. People stopped and stared, some with fear, others with fascination. Kira kept her dragons hidden, though she could feel their presence nearby, watching, protecting. Susan brought Kira to a large white building. The inside was bright, with strange lights that hurt Kira's sensitive eyes. The walls were bare and cold, so unlike the living wood of elven homes. "This is our research facility," Susan explained. "You can stay here while we work on a treatment for your sister." Kira nodded, though anxiety twisted in her stomach. She was the first elf to willingly enter a human dwelling in centuries. Her people would call her foolish, perhaps mad. But for Lily, she would risk everything. Susan showed Kira to a small room with a bed and strange devices. "Rest here, I will return with my team in the morning." When Susan left, Kira whispered into the shadows, "It is safe for now." Her 3 dragons materialized beside her. Sky jumped onto the bed, sniffing curiously. Ruby perched on a chair, her wings folded tight against her body. Moss remained by the door, watchful as always. "We must be careful here," Kira told them. "But these humans may be our only hope for Lily." The dragons chirped softly in response. They trusted Kira, even if they did not trust humans. That night, Kira slept fitfully, dreaming of her sister's pale face and the suspicious glares of her elven kin when she announced her plan to seek human help. The elders had forbidden it, saying it was better for Lily to die with dignity than for Kira to reveal their existence to humans. But Kira could not accept that she and Lily had lost their parents in the great forest fire. They had only each other. Kira would defy her entire race to save her sister. Morning came with strange noises Kira had never heard before. The dragons hid themselves as footsteps approached. The door opened and Susan entered with 2 other humans in white coats. "Good morning, Kira." Susan smiled. "These are my colleagues, Dr. Mary Wilson and Dr. Lisa Taylor. They will help us develop a treatment for your sister." The 2 human women stared at Kira with undisguised fascination. "Is it true you can communicate with plants?" one asked. "Can you really live for thousands of years?" asked the other. Kira felt like a curiosity, a specimen, but she reminded herself why she was there. "I will answer your questions if you help my sister." Susan nodded. "Of course. First, we need to run some tests to understand your biology." The tests began. Blood drawn from Kira's arm. Images of her body taken with strange machines. Questions about elven physiology and the disease affecting Lilyday's past. Kira grew accustomed to the human facility, though she longed for the forest. At night, when she was alone, her dragons would appear, keeping her company, reminding her of home. One evening, as the facility grew quiet, Susan came to Kira's room. Her face was bright with excitement. "We might have something," she said. "A treatment based on your unique cellular structure, but we need more tests and time is running out for your sister." Kira felt hope and fear in equal measure. "What must I do?" EOF. Cat. Emmett user data. Outputs Elf Dragon Story Part 2. MD. EOF weeks passed in the human facility. Kira gave more samples of blood and tissue. The humans scanned her body with strange machines and asked endless questions, while Susan worked to create medicine for Lily. Other humans studied Kira's samples with growing excitement. "Your cells have extraordinary regenerative properties," Susan explained one evening. "And your immune system is like nothing we've ever seen. It might be the key to saving your sister." Kira learned that human science was indeed a different kind of magic, one based on understanding rather than mystical energy, but it was powerful in its own way. The dragons remained hidden most of the time, but occasionally they would visit Kira at night, slipping past human security with ease. Their presence gave her strength. Ruby, the largest dragon, was growing restless in the human settlement. She missed the open skies and hunting in the forest. Moss remained vigilant always, watching for threats, while Sky, the smallest, had become fascinated with human objects, often trying to steal shiny things from the laboratory. "Be patient," Kira would tell them. "Soon we will return home with a cure for Lily." Then came the day Susan entered Kira's room with a bright smile. "We have it. A treatment for your sister and possibly a cure." Kira felt hope surge within her. Truly, yes. But there's a complication. Susan's smile faded. The treatment requires a significant amount of bone. Marrow from you, it will be painful and take weeks to recover. I care not for pain if it saves Lily. Susan nodded. There's more. The treatment will work best if we combine it with a special protein found in your dragons. Kira froze. No, you promised. Just a small blood sample from one dragon, Susan pleaded. It would increase the success rate dramatically. Without it, the treatment might fail. That night, Kira consulted with her dragons. Ruby, the eldest, seemed to understand and offered her wing R. You certain? Kira asked, stroking Ruby's crimson scales. The dragon chirped and nudged Kira's hand. She had always been the bravest. The next day, a small sample of Ruby's blood was drawn. The dragon remained brave, though Kira felt her pain through their bond. The results are extraordinary, Susan said, examining Ruby's blood under a microscope. The dragon's cells enhance the regenerative properties of your elven cells. This could revolutionize medicine for both our peoples. 3 days later, the treatment was ready. Susan accompanied Kira back to the edge of elven territory, carrying precious vials of medicine in a special container. This must be administered once each day for 7 days, Susan instructed. I've written everything down. Kira took the medicine gratefully. My people will not forget this kindness. Susan hesitated, then said, Kira, would you consider being an ambassador between our kinds? There is so much we could learn from each other. Kira thought of the wonders and horrors she had seen in the human world, their capacity for both compassion and destruction, their strange magic called science that could heal but also harm. Perhaps someday, she answered. First I must heal my sister. Then we shall see what bridges might be built. As Susan departed, Kira's 3 dragons emerged from hiding. Sky chirped happily while Ruby and Moss watched the human with newfound respect. Come. Kira told her dragons, let us take this human magic home and save Lily. The journey back to the Elven realm took 2 days. Kira moved swiftly through the forest, her heart lighter than it had been in months. The dragons flew above the treetops, occasionally diving down to keep her company. When Kira finally reached the ancient oak that marked the entrance to her village, she hesitated. The elders had forbidden her journey to the human world. Would they even allow her to return? Ruby landed beside her, making a soft, encouraging sound. Sky and Moss joined them. Their eyes fixed on the hidden entrance, Kira took a deep breath and stepped forward. The trees seemed to bend away from her path, the very air grew still. An elven guard appeared, her bow drawn. Halt, who goes there? Then recognition dawned. Kira, you were banished for seeking human aid. I return with a cure for my sister. Kira held up the container of medicine. Let me pass. The guard frowned. The elders must decide your fate. Wait here. Hours passed. Kira and her dragons waited at the border of the village. Finally, the guard returned with Elder Willow, the oldest and wisest of their kind. You defy our laws, Kira. Elder Willow said, her ancient face showing disappointment. You risk exposing our kind to humans. The humans already knew of our existence, Kira replied. But they helped me. They created medicine for Lily when our healers could not. Elder Willow studied the container with suspicion. Human magic is unnatural, it disrupts the balance. It is not magic but science, Kira explained. It works with nature, not against it. Please let me give this to Lily, she has little time left. The elder was silent for a long moment. Then she sighed. Your sister has grown worse in your absence. Our healers say she will not last another night. Fear gripped Kira's heart. Then, I must go to her now. Elder Willow nodded. You may enter, but your fate will be decided by the council and your dragons must remain outside our borders. Kira looked at her companions. They chirped in understanding. Ruby nudged her forward. I will return, soon. Kira promised them. Then she followed Elder Willow into the village. The elven village was built among the trees. Homes carved into living wood connected by bridges of woven vines. Everything in harmony with nature, unlike the harsh straight lines of human buildings. Elves stopped their activities to watch Kira pass. Some turned away in disgust. Others looked curious. A few called out her name in greeting. Lily lay in their shared home, a hollowed oak tree. Her once radiant skin now pale. As moonlight, her breathing shallow. "Sister," Kira rushed to her side, taking Lily's hand. "I'm back and I have medicine." Lily's eyes fluttered open. "Kira, you returned. I knew you would. The humans helped me. They made this for you." Kira showed her the medicine. Lily managed a weak smile. "The elders said humans were monsters. Some may be. But I met ones who were kind, who wanted to help." With trembling hands, Kira prepared the first dose as Susan had instructed. The liquid glowed faintly with a blue light. "Drink this." Kira helped Lily raise the vial to her lips. Lily swallowed the medicine, then grimaced. Strange taste. "Rest now." Kira stroked her sister's silver hair so like her own. "I will be here." Outside, the Council of Elders gathered to decide. Kira's punishment for breaking their most sacred law: never reveal yourself to humans, but Kira cared only for Lily. As night fell, she sat beside her sister, watching for any change. EOF. Cat, Mentee User Data, Outputs, Elf, Dragon Story, Part 3. MD. EOF. By morning, the change in Lily was remarkable. Her skin had regained some color, her breathing was stronger. Kira administered the second dose of the human medicine and watched as her sister sat up for the first time in months. "I feel stronger," Lily said, wonder in her voice. "What magic is this?" "Human science," Kira explained. "Not magic, but something different, something powerful." Elder Willow came to check on Lily. Her ancient eyes widened at the improvement. "Remarkable," she admitted. "Perhaps there is value in this human knowledge." But not all the elders were impressed. Elder Oak, the most traditional of their kind, entered the room, his face stern. "This unnatural remedy may seem to work now. But at what cost? The humans will want something in return. They always do." Kira stood to face him. "They already have what they wanted, knowledge of our biology, to help them cure diseases among their own kind." Elder Oak's face darkened. "You gave them our secrets without permission of the council." "To save my sister," Kira replied, "and they gave their knowledge freely." Outside, a commotion arose, shouts and cries of alarm. Kira rushed to the window. Her heart sank. Ruby Moss and Sky had entered the village despite the elder's command. The three dragons were surrounded by elven guards, their bows drawn. "Stop," Kira cried, running outside. "They mean no harm. They are my companions." Elder Oak followed. "More evidence of your disregard for our ways. Bonding with wild dragons, bringing them to our sacred grove." The dragons saw Kira and chirped happily. Sky, the smallest, flew to her, landing on her shoulder. Ruby and Moss remained where they were, watching the elven guards. "Warily, the council has reached its decision," Elder Oak announced. "For your crimes against our ways, you are banished, Kira Moonshadow. You may finish treating your sister, but then you must leave our realm forever." Gasps arose from the gathered elves. Banishment was their most severe punishment. Lily appeared in the doorway, still weak but standing. "No, you cannot banish my sister. She saved my life." Elder Willow joined them. "The decision was not unanimous," she said, giving Elder Oak a pointed look. "But it is final unless—" "Unless what?" Kira asked. "Unless you prove the value of human knowledge." Elder Willow said, "The forest beyond our borders is dying. A blight spreads among the trees. Our magic cannot stop it. If your human friends and their science can find a cure, perhaps the council will reconsider." Hope sparked in Kira's heart. "I will ask them." The human named Susan. "She might know a way," Elder Oak scoffed. "The forest has existed for millennia before humans. It does not need their interference, yet it dies now." Elder Willow countered, "Sometimes old ways must yield to new knowledge." The council departed, leaving Kira with her dragons and Lily. The other elves kept their distance, eyeing the dragons with fear and fascination. Will you go back to the humans? Lily asked as they returned to their home. Kira nodded. I must. But first I will make sure you are fully healed. For the next 5 days, Kira administered the medicine to Lily. Each day her sister grew stronger. The color returned to her cheeks. Her eyes brightened with renewed life. By the 6th day, Lily was able to walk through the village unassisted. One more dose, Kira said on the 7th morning. Then the treatment is complete. Lily took the final vial of medicine. And then you leave. Only to find a cure for the forest, Kira assured her. Then I will return. Take me with you, Lily pleaded. I want to see these humans who saved me to thank them. Kira hesitated. The journey would be difficult, and humans might react differently to 2 elves. When you are stronger, perhaps. For now, rest and regain your strength. That afternoon, Kira prepared for her journey back to the human settlement. She packed healing herbs, a gift for Susan, and provisions for the journey. Her dragons sensed her plans and grew excited, particularly Sky, who had developed a fascination with human objects. As Kira was about to depart, Elder Willow appeared at her door. The council has reconsidered. You may take your sister with you if she wishes. We are curious to hear her impression of these humans, surprised but grateful. Kira bowed. Thank you, Elder. Bring back a cure for our forest. Kira, Elder Willow's ancient eyes were solemn. Or do not return at all. Lily was overjoyed at the news. When do we leave? Tomorrow at first light, Kira decided. The journey takes 2 days. You must pace yourself. That night the sisters prepared. Lily was still regaining her strength, but determination shone in her eyes. She had never ventured. Beyond their forest realm, the human world was known to her only through stories, most of them cautionary tales. Are they truly as Susan? Lily asked as they packed. Kind and helpful? Some are, Kira replied honestly. Others, I do not know. Their world is vast and complex. Their cities are larger than our entire forest, their numbers greater than all elven kind. And they have no magic. They have science, Kira explained. A different kind of power based on understanding the world, rather than communing. With it, Ruby Moss and Sky would accompany them, of course. The dragons were part of Kira now, bonded through a magic older than even the elders could remember. Sky especially seemed excited, chirping and flying in circles around their home. When dawn came, the sisters set out. Ruby led the way, her crimson wings catching the morning light. Moss flew alongside Lily, protective of the still recovering elf, while Sky rode on Kira's shoulder, occasionally launching into the air to scout ahead. The forest was still beautiful, but Kira now noticed signs of the blight Elder Willow had mentioned. Leaves turning brown out of seasoned bark, cracking and peeling on ancient trees. The very air seemed heavier, less vibrant. The forest truly is sick, Lily observed. I was too ill to notice before, Kira nodded. The Elder's magic cannot heal it. Perhaps human science can. Their journey took them through parts of the forest Kira had rarely visited. Places where the trees grew differently, where strange flowers bloomed. The dragons seemed alert, sensing things the sisters could not. By nightfall they had covered half the distance to the human settlement. They made camp in a small clearing. Lily was tired, but her strength was returning. The human medicine had worked wonders. Tell me more about Susan, Lily asked as they sat beside their small fire. And the human settlement, Kira described Hope Springs, the research facility, the strange machines and the kindness of Susan and her team. She explained how the humans had been fascinated by elven biology but respectful of her boundaries. They sound nothing like the monsters in our stories. Lily mused. They are different from us, Kira said, but not evil, not all of them at least. As they talked, Sky suddenly perked. Up the small blue dragon chirped a warning. Ruby and Moss rose to their feet, wings spread. Something approaches, Kira whispered, reaching for her knife. EOF. Cat, NNet user data as outputs, Elf Dragon Story, Part 4. MD. EOF. The sisters stood back to back, Kira with her knife, Lily with her bow despite her weakened state. The dragons formed a protective circle around them. Ruby growled a sound like distant thunder. From the darkness of the forest emerged 3 figures, human shapes but moving with unnatural grace. Their eyes reflected the firelight like animals. "Well, well," one spoke, a female voice smooth as silk. "What have we here? 2 elves far from home and look 3 dragon companions. How fascinating." Kira gripped her knife tighter. "Who are you?" The woman stepped into the firelight. She appeared human, but something was off. Her movements too fluid, her smile too sharp. "My name is Vanessa. These are my associates, George and Penny. We work for someone very interested in your kind." Kira positioned herself in front of Lily. "We are simply travelers. Leave us be." Vanessa laughed. "Travelers with 3 dragons heading toward a human settlement. We know what you are, and we know one of you visited the research facility at Hope Springs." Lily gasped. How could they know? "We have been watching," Vanessa explained. "The facility has been under observation for some time. We suspected they had made contact with non-humans, and now here you are." Ruby spread her wings and roared a sound far larger than her small body should produce. Moss and Sky flanked her, their eyes fixed on the strangers. Vanessa seemed unimpressed. "Your pets are cute, but they can't stop us. We have orders to bring you in for study." "I will not be studied," Kira declared. "I volunteered at Hope Springs to save my sister. I will not be taken by force. You misunderstand." Vanessa smiled again, that too sharp smile. "We don't work for the government or that little research center. Our employer is much more ambitious. He wants to understand magical creatures to harness their power." The 2 others, George and Penny, began to spread out surrounding the camp. Their movements were wrong somehow. Too coordinated, too mechanical. "Lily," Kira whispered. "When I signal run, take Sky." "I won't leave you," Lily protested. "You must. The forest needs help. Our people need help." Vanessa took another step forward. "No need for anyone to run. We can make this pleasant or not, your choice." Kira assessed their options. The strangers were blocking the path to Hope Springs, but the deeper forest lay behind them. If Lily could reach it, she might circle around. Find Susan. Ruby seemed to sense Kira's plan. The Crimson Dragon, tensed, ready to attack Moss, moved closer to Lily, while Sky remained perched on Kira's shoulder, trembling slightly. "We will not go with you," Kira stated firmly. Vanessa sighed. Disappointing. She raised her hand, revealing a strange device. "Then we do this the hard way." Kira moved without warning. "Now, Ruby!" The Crimson Dragon sprang forward, spewing fire not at the humans but at the ground between them, creating a wall of flames. Moss grabbed Lily by the back of her tunic, lifting her into the air. "No," Lily cried, reaching for her sister. "Go!" Kira shouted. "Find Susan. Tell her what happened." Sky refused to leave, launching herself at George, clawing at his face. The man swatted at the small dragon with inhuman strength, sending Sky tumbling through the air. Kira charged through the flames, knife ready. Vanessa was waiting, her movements impossibly fast. She caught Kira's wrist, twisting until the knife fell. "Impressive," Vanessa said, her grip painfully tight. But futile. Ruby attacked from above, her talons raking across Vanessa's back. The woman hissed in pain but did not release Kira. Instead, she pulled a small dart from her pocket and jabbed it into Kira's neck. Immediately, Kira's limbs grew heavy. Her vision blurred. She heard Sky screeching, Ruby roaring, the sound of fighting. Then darkness. Kira awoke in a cold metal room, her wrists and ankles bound to a table. The air smelled of chemicals and something else. Something wrong. She turned her head painfully and gasped. Ruby and Sky were in glass containers nearby, both dragons unconscious, their scales dull. Ruby's wing bent at an unnatural angle, Sky's small body barely moving with each breath. There was no sign of Moss or Lily. Hope flared in Kira's chest. Moss had escaped with Lily. They might reach Susan. They might bring help. The door to the room slid open with a hiss. Vanessa entered, followed by an older human male. His hair was silver, his eyes cold behind glasses. He wore a white coat, like Susan, but where her eyes had shown compassion, his revealed only calculation. "Our guest is awake," he noted. "Excellent. My name is Dr. Peter Wilson. I'm the director of this facility." Kira tested her bonds. They did not yield. "What do you want?" "Information." Dr. Wilson replied, "Knowledge, understanding." He approached, examining her with clinical interest. "You are the first elf we have captured alive. Previous specimens were already deceased." Horror filled Kira. "You have taken my people before?" "Rarely. They are quite elusive. But yes, we have studied several fascinating biology, but nothing compared to what we will learn from you." His gaze shifted to the dragons. "And these creatures extraordinary. The scales alone contain compounds unknown to science." "Release them," Kira demanded. "They have done nothing." Dr. Wilson chuckled. "They are animals, magnificent ones, but still animals. Your concern is misplaced. They are more than animals. They are bonded to me." "Yes, the neural connection. We've detected unusual brainwave patterns. We will study that too." Vanessa stood by the door, watching the injuries Ruby had inflicted seem to have healed impossibly fast. "What are you?" Kira asked her. "You are not human." "Not entirely," Dr. Wilson answered. "Vanessa and her team are enhanced improved humans. The result of our research, a combination of science and what you would call magic. Specifically your magic." "Impossible." "Not at all." Dr. Wilson adjusted his glasses. "We found a dying elf years ago. We extracted certain compounds from his tissue, compounds that when synthesized allow for remarkable abilities, enhanced strength, speed, healing. All the gifts of your kind, but in human form." Revulsion filled Kira. "You desecrated a body." "We advanced science," Dr. Wilson corrected. "And now with you and these dragons we will advance it further." Ruby stirred in her container, her eyes opening slowly. When she saw Kira captive, she threw herself against the glass. Weakened, as she was, the container barely shook. "Save your strength." "Ruby," Kira called to her, "we will find a way." Dr. Wilson made notes on a tablet. "Fascinating. The connection is stronger than we theorized." Sky remained motionless in her container. Her blue scales had lost their luster. Kira feared the smallest dragon might not survive. "Please," Kira said, swallowing her pride. "The small one, she needs care." Dr. Wilson glanced at Sky. "Specimens sometimes expire. It's regrettable, but part of science." Anger replaced fear in Kira's heart. These were not like Susan and her team. These humans saw elves and dragons as things, not beings. If Lily and Moss had escaped, if they found Susan, perhaps there was hope. But how long would that take? And would Sky survive? "What is this place?" Kira asked, trying to gather information. "Where have you taken us?" "A private research facility," Dr. Wilson answered. "Well hidden, far from prying eyes, government oversight, ethical committees." He said the words with disdain. "Here we can pursue knowledge without restriction. Others will." "Come for me," Kira warned. "Both elves and humans." Dr. Wilson seemed amused. "Your sister and the green dragon. You mean they won't find this place, and if by some miracle they did, they would not leave again." Vanessa checked her watch. "The extraction team is ready, Doctor." "Excellent." Dr. Wilson nodded. "Begin with blood and tissue samples, then neural mapping. I'd like to understand the dragon bond before we proceed to deeper analysis." As they prepared their instruments, Kira closed her eyes and focused. She reached for the bond that connected her to Ruby, to Sky, and to Moss, now far away. She sent her thoughts outward. EOF. Cat. MET. User data. Outputs. Elf Dragon Story. Part 5. EMD. EOF. Lily clung to Moss as they flew through the night. The green dragon carried her with gentle strength, despite his own fear and rage at being separated from Kira and the others. "We must," Find the human settlement, Lily told him. Find Susan. Moss seemed to understand. He changed direction, heading toward where the forest thinned. It was near dawn when they spotted the lights of Hope Springs. Moss landed at the edge of the settlement, hiding in the shadows as Lily had instructed. Stay hidden, Lily whispered. I will find Susan. Lily had never been among humans before. She pulled her cloak tight, hiding her pointed ears as Kira had described. She made her way through the strange streets, eyes wide at the buildings, the vehicles, the sheer number of humans. The research facility stood at the far end of the settlement, a white building with many windows. Lily approached the entrance, her heart pounding. A human guard stopped her. Identification, please. Lily had no such thing. I must see Susan Brown. It is urgent, my sister Kira. At the mention of Kira, the guard's expression changed. Wait here. He spoke into a device at his wrist. Minutes later, Susan appeared. Her eyes widened. At the sight of Lily, you must be Kira's sister. The resemblance is remarkable. My sister is in danger. Lily blurted out. Strange humans took her, and Ruby and Sky. Susan pulled her inside. Tell me everything. Lily described the attack, the strange humans who moved wrongly. The man called Dr. Wilson. Susan's face grew pale. Wilson, I know of him. He was banned from research years ago, for ethical violations. She paced the room. But we never knew where he went. He has my sister, Lily pleaded, and the dragons will find them, Susan assured her. But I need help. She activated a screen on the wall. Mary Lisa, I need you in my office now. Emergency. Within minutes, Susan's colleagues arrived. Mary gasped at the sight of Lily, another elf, Kira's sister. Susan explained quickly. Wilson has Kira and the dragons. Wilson. Lisa's face hardened. That monster. We need to locate his facility, Susan said. He can't have gone far, not with captive subjects. I have a way, Lily said quietly. The bond Kira shares with her dragons, I can sense it through Moss. Moss. The green dragon, he brought me here. He waits outside. The humans exchanged looks. You have a dragon outside the facility. He is hidden, Lily assured them. But he can find the others. If we follow him, Susan nodded decisively. We'll need help. Official channels would take too long. She turned to Mary. Call Sam at security. Tell him it's about Wilson. He'll understand. Lisa, prepare a medical kit for rescue. She looked at Lily. We'll find them. Within an hour, a small team had assembled. Susan, 3 security officers, and a medical technician. Lily led them to where Moss waited. The humans gasped at the sight of the green dragon. He was larger than Ruby. His scales the deep green of ancient forest shadows, his eyes intelligent and worried, magnificent. One of the security officers whispered, He will lead us, Lily said, approaching Moss. She placed a hand on his snout, closing her eyes. Show us Moss, find Kira. The dragon raised, his head sniffing the air. Then he spread his wings and launched himself skyward. We follow in vehicles. Susan decided, Lily rides with me. They followed Moss for hours, the dragon occasionally circling back to ensure they kept pace. Sometimes landing, briefly to commune with Lily. The bond between the dragons allowed Moss to sense the others, faintly but enough to track. They are in pain, Lily said, her face grim. Especially Sky. She is very weak. Susan's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Wilson, we'll pay for this. By midday, they reached a mountainous area, remote and difficult to access. Moss landed on a rocky outcrop, pointing with his wing toward a structure built into the mountainside, almost invisible against the stone. That must be it. Susan used binoculars to study the facility. Minimal security. They rely on isolation. The security team leader, Sam, studied the building. 2 entrances visible. Probably more inside guards, but not many. Wilson always preferred automation over personnel. How do we get in? Lily asked. I have an idea, Susan said. But it will require Moss and your help. In Dr. Wilson's facility, Kira fought to remain conscious. They had taken samples of her blood tissue, even bone marrow. The pain was excruciating. But worse was watching them do the same to Ruby. The Crimson Dragon's roars had weakened to whimpers Sky had not moved in hours. Fascinating. Dr. Wilson reviewed the data on his screens, the cellular structure, the regenerative capabilities, and the neural patterns during communication with the dragons. Vanessa entered the room. Doctor, we have an alert. Perimeter sensors detected movement. Animals. Dr. Wilson dismissed. This area is full of wildlife. The pattern suggests something larger. Possibly. Human. Dr. Wilson frowned. Impossible. No one knows this location. An alarm sounded. Lights flashed red. Vanessa's comm device crackled. Intruder approaching fast. It's a... The message cut off. A distant boom shook the facility. What was that? Dr. Wilson demanded. The answer came in a roar that vibrated through the walls. Kira felt it in her bones. A dragon's roar, Moss's roar, but amplified. A battle cry. Hope surged through her. She reached again for the bond, sending strength to Ruby. The Crimson Dragon's eyes opened wider. She stretched in her container. The glass creaked. Something's happening with the specimens. A technician reported. Increased neural activity. Heightened vital signs. Another explosion rocked the facility. Closer this time, Kira heard. Shouting human voices, gunfire. Then another roar. Vanessa drew a weapon. Secure the specimens. Prepare for... The wall exploded inward. Debris flying everywhere. Through the dust and smoke came Moss, his green scales gleaming, his eyes blazing with fury. Behind him came Lily and Susan. Kira. Lily cried, seeing her sister strapped to the table. Dr. Wilson backed away. How did you? Susan advanced on him. Her face thunderous. Peter Wilson, you are finished. Security officers in Hope Springs uniforms poured. In through the breach, weapons drawn. Vanessa and the other enhanced humans fought with inhuman strength and speed. But they were outnumbered. Moss went straight to the containers, holding Ruby and Sky. With powerful claws, he smashed the glass, freeing. The other dragons, Ruby weak but alive, climbed out. Sky did not move. Lily ran to Kira, freeing her from the restraints. Sister, we came. Sky. Kira whispered, struggling to sit up. Help, Sky. Susan was already there, the small blue dragon in her arms. She's alive, barely. We need to get her to the facility. Dr. Wilson tried to flee but was cornered by Ruby. The dragon might be weakened, but her rage gave her strength. She pinned the doctor with one clawed foot. Wait, he begged. Think of the knowledge, the advances we could make together. Knowledge without compassion is worse than ignorance, Susan told him. The security team secured Wilson and his staff. Vanessa and the other enhanced humans were placed in special restraints. What they did? Kira asked, looking at Vanessa. Making them part elf, is it reversible? Susan examined a computer terminal. According to these files, no. The changes are permanent, but they can be contained. Kira limped to Sky, taking the small dragon from Susan. The blue dragon's eyes fluttered open briefly. She gave a weak chirp. Stay with us, little one. Kira whispered. They evacuated the facility. Susan's team gathering all of Wilson's research. To ensure it can't be misused, she explained, and to help your forest, the journey. Back to Hope Springs was slow. Kira and Ruby needed medical attention, but Sky was the priority. Her breathing shallow, her heartbeat faint. At the research facility, Susan and her team worked tirelessly. The damage is severe, Susan told the sisters, but we have something that might help, a regenerative compound we developed from our earlier research with Kira's cells. Will it save her? Kira asked, cradling the small dragon. I believe so. Yes. Days passed. Kira and Lily stayed at the facility, Ruby and Moss never leaving their sides. Skye remained in a special chamber, monitored constantly. Gradually, her color improved. Her breathing strengthened. "She's fighting," Susan reported, "and winning." Meanwhile, Susan studied the data taken from Wilson's lab. "This is remarkable. The blight affecting your forest, it's similar to a fungal disease that affected our crops decades ago. We developed a treatment." Lily looked up, hope in her eyes. "You can cure our forest." "I believe so. And Wilson's notes contain information about your people. Previous encounters samples." Susan's face showed disgust, but also knowledge that might help bridge our worlds. Properly this time. A week later, Skye was strong enough to leave her chamber. The small blue dragon flew, wobbly circles around the room, chirping happily. Ruby watched protectively. Moss seemed to smile in his dragony way. "Time to go home," Kira told her sister. Elder Willow was waiting at the border of the elven realm, surprise showing on her ancient face at the sight of the humans accompanying the sisters. "You return with more humans," she noted. "Friends," Kira explained, "and they bring a cure for our forest." Susan stepped forward, offering a container. "This will treat the blight. It must be applied to the soil around the affected trees." Elder Willow accepted it cautiously. "And what do you ask in return?" "A chance," Susan said, "to learn from each other as equals, with respect." The elder studied the humans, then looked at Kira and Lily at the dragons. Now fully recovered, even Skye. Perhaps it is time for change. In the following months, the forest began to heal. The treatment worked, spreading through the soil, through the roots. Through the very essence of the elven realm, Kira and Lily became ambassadors. Between their peoples, Susan established a new research initiative focused on ethical cooperation and exchange of knowledge.